Our second installment in our 3-part series on what to do when training through pain is the practical guidelines for the coach depending on each athlete profile we went through in our series number 1. So the first profile we went through was the athlete who will run through a wall. As a coach, what we can do in this situation is communicate what you're feeling in terms of how much they're pushing. Some things that we can do in this situation also is we can add load caps, we can add ranges and prescribe, we can manipulate some of the accessories to make sure that the accessories are helping with the injury or helping with the niggles that are present at the moment. But again, this is a case-by-case scenario. Some athletes won't want you to do that at all, and that's okay, that's their choice. Some athletes will thank you when they get through a prep.
So the second athlete profile we had was the person who doesn't communicate their injury until things get a little bit too bad. So when working through these kinds of issues with this kind of athlete, you want to make sure you check on this person and ask them specifically how their injury is feeling, but not be so overbearing that it makes the athlete start feeling fragile and broken. In this particular instance, you also probably want to adjust their program to just have the non-negotiables in there and making sure that you're doing a really good job of managing load and that you're not overexposing those areas to too much load or too much range of motion and starting to flare that issue up, because it is likely that a person is just going to dismiss it and say it's probably fine. So making sure you have the non-negotiables in there and you're doing your due diligence around that injury is going to be really important here as well. And then additionally, we've also got things like load caps to stop them from going too hard, too early into this recovery process.
The third one is the one who loves to train hard, but they are sensitive to pain. So in this instance, communication and reassurance is key. Letting them push when they need to and letting them pull back when they need to regather themselves. Using RPE is a really good thing for these guys as well, so they can feel out how they're feeling under the bar and they can progress back to training pain-free and progress back to adding load to the bar and training hard like they like.
And that fourth and final profile is that person who's kind of stuck in the rehab stage for quite some time. This kind of person, when you're doing programming for them, it's going to be important to keep a lot of those rehab exercises in their program to provide the confidence and reassurance they need that they aren't broken and they can start feeling really nice with their training based off of all those rehab exercises. So it's also important to continue reassuring them throughout this process that it's okay to add load and it's okay for them to slightly step away from being so rehab orientated and to start putting the focus back on the performance and adding load to the bar. So things we can do to help us from a programming perspective is just prescribing load and gently nudging and encouraging them to add load to the bar each week to help build their confidence week after week to show them that they are in a good place to start performing again.